Hi guys, welcome back to another timeless reading. This is filmed on Friday, December 4th, 2025 from the one second night before Christmas tarot card. Sorry, I had to sneeze there. So this cold full moon that is happening this evening, this is it's accelerated time. They keep talking about this new era, this new form of energy. So if you're being called to do something, if you're being pushed to do something, so it looks like someone wants to start something with baking. They show a big red mixing bowl, red and white, so maybe like better Betty Crocker kind of thing. Maybe this is your recipes. I don't know if this is like you're using Betty Crocker like baking stuff, bakeware, as well as like the cake mixes and making like cake pops or something like that. Maybe this is you being an influencer on YouTube. So I feel like this is something that your heart is being called to and to share with the world, right? So it's like do that because this energy, this transformative change time, we keep seeing this death card, purging people, places, and things, because this is accelerating your timeline for the next 18 years. I think it is. What is it, 28 to 42? So it's just like, this is, if you are being called to action right now, you're being called to do something. I definitely feel like it's like take action in it, because this is going to accelerate your timeline and bring in everything you want. If you sit there and you live in fear and you're like, I'm scared, and it's like you're not going to get it right the first time. Hey, you may be a hit the first time, you never know. It's just like you're learning. It's a learning process. This is what helps us grow. So it's just like take the action, even if it's like with me, it's like, oh, Mercury retrograde hangover energy and stuff like that. It's like, with myself, it's like even if you film and start editing now, and then you could sit there and post it on the 15th or the 16th of December. I feel like as long as you're making steps in that direction, it's going to sit there and make the things happen in the background, because they could see that you're putting the work in. You probably are currently putting the work in, but you're called to do something in that genre, but a different, like, add to your wheelhouse. You know what I mean? Some people do tarot cards, they do palm readings, they do Viking runes, they do, you know what I mean? It's like where their heart is drawn to. Some people do Reiki, some people do distance healing, some people do, all these different things. Like they sit there and they're showing, there's one person that I follow, she sits there and she has this wooden cup and it has like the charms and the bird beak and foot and all this other stuff, and she reads it, or just bones, and she'll have a handful of bones, she'll shake it in her hands and she'll throw them down. You know what I mean? So it's like she's able to read from them. Everybody is different. That's very Enchanted Forest tarot cards kind of energy. So I feel like this is where they're saying like this is supposed to heal the masses. This is supposed to show. They're saying like the earth is not ending. This could be like a resurrection. I definitely believe Bill Jackson that there was multiple resurrections, and it's like the earth is transforming to this AI kind of era. Very Terminator movie kind of energy. And it could be like, everything's changing over to that. But I feel like it's just be in this moment, be happy, if you're drawn to do these things, do it. I feel like if you sit there and wait, this is going to be a major moment in your life. It's like the current job you have that you're kind of like the jobs that pay the rent kind of thing. It's just like you're kind of going to be stuck in that energy until 2042. That'll be the next opportunity to accelerate things and move forward. So it's just like, yeah, we can always change things. We can, you know what I mean? There's never that, but I just definitely feel like this is like throwing gasoline on a bonfire kind of energy. It's just a luminous. It's just like, this is your time to shine. They're showing a spotlight. So it's like, you're being called to do something. Definitely do it. They're showing makeup. So maybe someone's putting on a makeup palette. It looks like kind of like ColourPop-esque kind of energy. So maybe you're doing a collaboration with them, and it's like you're doing, something with them, and it's like you're putting out a palette. It's not like Jeffree Star where it's very elaborate, where it's like, the trunks are all these, wonderful, very artistic palettes with the boxing, the packaging. So it's just, I feel like it's probably because it's your first one. It's just like, let's go with this one, and like minimalistic, and they're like, let's see how this goes. And then it's like maybe you could put your artsy, touch on it later on, where it's very, going out to like I definitely feel artistic energy here. So it's just like you're sitting there and, maybe putting out a tarot deck. Maybe you're doing that. Like maybe you're just doing so many things, everything your heart desires. You know what I mean? It's like putting out the things, and it's not doing it because you want to make a quick buck. It costs like $2. Like, Jeffree took the freaking, blinders off of the beauty community, and it's just like, it costs them like $2 to print or $12 to print, and they're charging $80 for it or $120. And it's just like, really? Where it's like he makes less profit, but he turns over more inventory because his is the milky, the buttery, quality that you're used to. Like, it's a quality product. You don't mind everybody knows if you love makeup and all the artistry of it, it's like you will spend the money where you'll put your money where you know that it'll get the most bang for the buck. Not only is it visually appealing, but it's also a great product. You know what I mean? Like, you will not regret the purchase. Yes, very controversial, but it's just like, I feel like that's why a lot of people like him, because he's so spicy. So getting into the tarot cards, this is going from this kind of energy. So you probably felt the shift inside yourself. So if it was a separation, divorce, bereavement, it's like permission and taking that guilt away to move forward. And I don't necessarily mean in life. I feel like a lot of us sit there, we go through the stages and we get to this point where it's just like, we can either let this define the rest of our life. We can either make us better or make us bitter. And it's like, yeah, sometimes it takes, everyone's different, months, years, days, seconds, whatever it is. But it's just like, when you're able to find that happiness, it's like, hang on to it. It's like, you know what I mean? Like, not every day is going to be perfect. You're not going to wake up every day with, golden sunshine up your butt or anything like that. But it's just like, anytime we feel like, this energy, like, where it's just like, just happy and excited and, full of life, it's like, live in that energy. If we could bottle up that feeling, we would. So, you know what I mean? It's just like, this is where they're like disappointment. It's like getting over a disappointment. You know what I mean? I heard disappointment. Even with Jack, like, he sat there and he tried to be Santa Claus, but it wasn't the way that he thought it was. Santa Claus is all about wonder and magic and mystery of Christmas, right? Where he thought Santa Claus was more like Halloween, where it's scary and spooky, and he was trying to give out presents, but there were spooky presents. I'm sure all the spooky kids, gals and ghouls, are all like, yeah, I would love those gifts, but not the quote unquote normal ones. You know what I mean? So we're going to the Three of Presents. We were talking about collaborations. I love the fact that he's bringing a wheelbarrow of gifts, and I feel like you're the giver. And I feel like the little one, I don't know, I feel like the little one is, the little mummy figure there is giving, this kind of Frankenstein energy gentleman, with the wheelbarrow, like a gift. I feel like you're a giver. I definitely like Queen of Cups, King of Cups. You know what I mean? It's like, we are the type of people that fill other people's cup and we don't expect anything in return. And universe is like, but you know what? We see that. You know what I mean? We see what kind of heart you have, just like Santa Claus. Like, you know what I mean? Like that wonderment, the story of, this gentleman and his wife that sat there and made sure everybody in the neighborhood had a Merry Christmas. All the kids got what, because it was all about the children, right? So I feel like in that energy, Three of Pentacles, it's presents, but Three of Pentacles is all about collaboration. So we were talking about collaboration with they're showing like ColourPop or something like that, putting out a eyeshadow palette, or like it's like shadow. I feel like it's like eyeshadows, shimmer, so like highlighters and a couple of blushes. So it's not like that kind of, maybe they do like a 12 pan usually. I'm not sure. I don't think I have any ColourPop. Maybe I do. I would have to look, but I feel like with this, I have some of their highlighters. I don't have like an actual palette. I have mostly Jeffree Star. But I feel like it's one of those where it's like, you're all in one kind of palette. There's shadows, highlighters, and blushes. And you could use them wherever you want, right? It's your palette. But I feel like it's just like, because they're showing these like shimmery ones on the bottom. It's like a white powdery shimmer. There's like a pink shimmer and like a bronzer shimmer. So that's why I feel like it's like a bigger one. So like they're talking about collaborations here. Or like even collaborating in the fact of what you're doing differently. Like I said, different wheelhouse. So it's being the fool here. So when I was talking to my bestie, I was like, all I could see is from the Light Shears tarot deck, where they're kind of like a trust fall, where, bless you, it's my kid sneezing, where they got their hands out, and it's a trust fall into this pool of water, right? And I feel like that pool of water is kind of like a dimension. We did pull from this earlier, and they were showing all these doors, and it's like all these opportunities. But I feel like it's like the Seven of Boons. It's like we make a choice and we pull forward. So it's like, yeah, you're going to live in fear, and it's just like, yeah, but that's where it keeps us held back, right? That's where a lot of people, it's like, oh, you can't do this, you're full of poop, da 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 da. People will say things because they don't want you to move forward. But this is where I love what Kanye said. It's just like, you know what? If the interviewer is like, aren't you afraid to fail? He's like, no, because I always try. If you try, you're never failing. You know what I mean? So I feel like it's like, put it out and keep doing it. You know what I mean? Even for myself, did I know when this was going to happen? It was literally my father's passing anniversary. Had no freaking idea. I was so oblivious to it. And I just sat there and I pulled from my, I think it's the Elves tarot cards or the Fairy tarot cards. I should pull that deck out again and pull from it. It's just a deeper meaning. You know what I mean? It's hard to pull like a spread like this. But, you know, it's just like sat there and it was like, what pulls at my heart? What is this card telling me? What's the story? What's the actual definition? And it's like years later, you know what I mean? It's like, you know, what I've grown and expand to, and people trust me with their energy and being blessed to be doing personal readings. You know what I mean? So it's just like, you know, you never know where you're going to grow and expand. That's why I feel like they're saying where you are today and where you see yourself growing. So this is very vision board energy. Where you put all those things on the board, it's like you're taking the steps and putting the energy in the work because you want to see this yourself expand. You know what I mean? And I feel like this is where it's going. Like, you know, God bless, we make it to 2042. And you know what I mean? It's like, do you want to sit there and be like, I'm glad back in 2025 that I sat there and I made the decision to make the steps to sit there and move in a direction where my heart and my soul were calling me to go. Because I can't even imagine where I would be if you know what I mean? And I feel like they keep on, like they're saying, you know, to jobs that pay the rent. Thank God we have a job that pays the rent. But it's just like, do you want, you know, the things that really get to you, that really tick you off? It's like, do you want to still be in that energy in 2042? You know what I mean? So I feel like it's just like, you're not of this earth. You're not someone that just sits there and is just like, this is life. You know what I mean? Get up, repeat, recycle, repeat. You know what I mean? You're beyond that. You know what your calling is. So if that speaks to you, this is your calling to sit there and move forward. I'm just going to pull this back a little wee more so you can see. Obviously, it's going to be harder to read the bottom ones, but the Empress, this is a rebirth in your life. You know, this is a chance for you to expand, to grow. I wonder if that's the leash in her hand. She has her son on a dog leash in the Nightmare Before Christmas. Whereas we put the harnesses on them. Because, you know what? Say what you want, but I was dropping off Jenner. I was pregnant with a surrogate baby, dropping Jenner off at kindergarten. Michael would be out of his carriage. He was a baby carriage. He was 2, but he looked like a friggin' 5-year-old. And he would run off to the park by himself. And I couldn't see it because the building was in the way. I think it was a gymnasium or something. Or no, it was the daycare. You know what I mean? And I'm just like being pulled. And they're like, oh, don't worry, I'll watch him. I'm like, can I really trust you with my kid? You know what I mean? So it's just like, when I see it, it's like I have a harness on him. And he's like, you put a harness on me? I was like, yeah, it looked like it had a little monkey on the back. Monkey on his back. What a dork. Oh, I could have killed him. And then I would try to walk him home because I was like, you know, everyone's like, oh, he's too big to be in the carriage, you know, just walk him home. And it's like he cried the whole way home because he wanted to sleep. Oh, Lord, that child. But, you know what I mean? This is a rebirth in your life. And this is the opportunity for you to sit there. Like, do you want to sit there and be in that energy where it's like, oh, my gosh, I should have done it. Like, Jack, he has big dreams and aspirations. And they're like, you know, some people like stick to your lane. You know what I mean? But it's just like, you stick to your lane. It's like, you know what I mean? You're missing out on so many things that you want to do. You know, it's just sit there and do wherever your heart desires. If it works out, God bless. You know, the only way you're going to know is if you try. 6 of Potions, and this is where they're talking about like the Ace of Cups. It's like you fill other people's cup because the universe fills yours. And it's just like, you don't have to worry about that. It's like learning not to give up, learning to rest. So that's what I'm saying. Start off soft, do a soft launch, and just do little by little until you get comfortable. I love Kristen Howard because she's a real one. She sits there and she's like, I put makeup on and I'll film a bunch of videos, and then I have the rest of the week to edit, and then she puts one video out at a time, so then she has content for a while. You know what I mean? And that's what I love about her because she's a real one. There's someone else that said that as well. They do the same thing. They'll take a day to film, they'll sit there and take those videos, they'll edit them, and one by one they'll release them. And I'm like, I love people like that. Don't be a gatekeeper. Let all of us sit there and learn. Like, you know, if I can help someone to sit there and accelerate their timeline, it's like, why not? Why do you want to see people struggle? It's like there's a platform for everybody. There's like what, 7 point how many billion people on this earth? It's like there's a platform for everybody. Ace of Presents, Ace of Pentacles. I love that. Instead of receiving, I feel like giving again. So we have two of these cards where it's, well, giving, I feel like giving it to you, presenting it to you. Ace of Pentacles, this is all about grounding energy. This is what they're clearing a path for you that you're not going to have to work for. And I feel this is part of you. This is what your heart and soul is calling for. And it's kind of like Storm was talking about on Below Deck, where he was offered the bosun job. And he said he was excited to climb this new mountain. And I love his analogy, because he's like, I don't know what's gonna, like, lions, tigers, bears, oh my, you don't know what's gonna happen. They're showing my girlfriend, she's making homemade butter, she's making so many such beautiful sourdough loaves, she's gonna do eggs, she's doing a farm stand, and it's like she doesn't know what's gonna happen here. Again, it's like sitting there and it's just like, I don't know what's gonna happen. But you know what? There's no harm in trying. This is where her heart and soul is. She is definitely a woman of God. She is definitely someone that, you know, walks in her faith. And it's just like she doesn't know where the path has taken her, but she's just grateful that she's there. The sun is shining, like the light of the Lord is shining on her and her beautiful family. It's just like, you know what I mean? It's like, this is where your soul is calling you. This is where your purpose is calling you at this time. And it's like, that's where you're going to put your energy. So I just definitely feel like it's like you will be receiving in this, you know. The Emperor, there you go. The grounding energies. I definitely felt root chakra with this. You know what I mean? It's just like grounding energies, and it's like foundation, making that foundation stronger, growing your foundation, expanding your foundation. You know, it's like seated position, being patient as this unfolds. So it's like, they're showing the 5 of candles, and I feel like it's like anything we do. You're going to have comments. Like, I posted, I said, think of Ace of Cups energy, like like you're about to get really busy, right? And the person commented, I hope you remember this when it happens. And I'm like, huh? Do I know you? You know what I mean? It's just like people taking their masks off. Like she's trying to take off Lock, Shock, and Barrel. They're always fighting, like a bunch of siblings fighting. But what the beauty and light of that is the 3 of Wands. It's like the universe has your back. Your ship is about to come in. You know what I mean? Like, you know, don't let that energy. That's what they're trying to hold you back on. That is that 5 of Wand energy. It's like, oh, conflicts and turmoil and gossip. It's like, isn't that always a part of life? Like, doing my job, I got called a kiss ass because someone's in their ego, and it's like they have to be in control and feel like they're, you know what I mean? Doesn't do anything to be respected, but demands respect. So it's just like, sure, no problem. We'll feed your ego. Yes, sir. No problem, sir. Thank you very much. And it's just like, you know, I don't care. I'm like, if that's what you need to hear, dude, just to do your job, it's like, freaking, there you go. We'll feed your ego. Go away. You know what I mean? That's what gets my job done a lot easier. I'd rather freaking go along to get along. So the Magician. I love that because it's like heart chakra with the green. And it's like you possess everything it takes for you to move forward. You don't have to worry about that. Everything, what you're trying to accomplish here, I'm going to end it there because this is going to end up being super long. But everything that you already have in you, what you're being drawn to do is already a part of you. It's just now you're ready to accelerate that. Now you're ready to put your time and energy and devotion into this. It's an expansion of yourself. So, you know what I mean? Don't let, you know what I mean? That's like 1-2% get in the way of your dreams. Because you know what? That 1-2% is always going to be there. But you know the universe is always there to support you. That's the major message here. Have the faith to take the leap of faith here. You know, I love very intuition energy here with the yellows. It's like, take the leap of faith. Be like Jack. Which door are we going to walk through? Let's see what's going to happen, you know? And it's just like, expand. This is your time to expand. This is your era. This is your time to grow. You know, just think about, you know, the next time this is going to happen in 2042. Do you, where the circumstances are right now, do you still want to be there in 2042? Yes or no? And that's going to be the fuel that lights your fire to move you forward. So I hope you guys enjoyed this timeless reading. May the universe bless you good. We'll see you for the next one.